Welcome to the Best Outdoors program just off the shores of the mighty Red River. It's the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show, the heart and soul of all things related to God's great outdoors. Starring Gary McCoy, an all-around outdoorsman with a CMA Award for Best Personality in Radio. A man who excels in the radio world and needs no introduction to the outdoors, whether standing tall in the winner's circle or sitting low in the deer stand. Mike Eccles, the boss tournament trail director and outstanding duck hunting guide with a wealth of outdoors knowledge who's not afraid to give his opinion with or without the facts. His years of bass tournament experience ensures that rules are followed and anglers are kept in check. And last but not least, Daiwa and Ranger Pro Steve Graff, a member of the Northwestern State University Hall of Fame with years of bass tournament experience who continues his pursuit of a double-digit bass and championship stringers. So let's jump on the front deck and make that first cast with the legendary minds of the great outdoors. Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and the one and only Steve Graff. Take it away, guys.
Hey, it's Gary McCoy, the old Ranger Daiwa Pro Staffer Steve Graff.
Yo.
Buddy and Mike Eccles in the house. Topwater has got his little Nike golf hat on today. It's Hunter's orange.
Yeah, that's why I wore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make sure... He wanted to make sure we could see.
Yeah. Looked like you've been chopping firewood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I picked up a part-time job.
Yeah.
I got called, yeah.
You chew Red Man or something?
Yeah, Red Man.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Mm-hmm.
My dad chewed Red Man.
Did he?
Yeah, buddy.
You know, most of the old guys were beech nut dudes.
Yeah, my dad was a big Red Man guy.
Yeah. Did you ever chew tobacco? Mike?
I've never chewed tobacco or smoked a cigarette in my life.
Really?
Not one.
You just look for the bottom and a fifth.
That's it.
I quit smoking at age 8. I put the cigarettes down at 8.
Did you really? You smoked
Seriously.
when you were 7 years
Seriously.
old?
Yeah.
You smoked when you were 7 years old?
It was not good, buddy.
I understand that, but I mean, when you who at 7 years old goes, I need to buy a carton of Camels. You get those
unfiltered.
And I would take them into this tree house in a neighbor's backyard, and I would climb up in that tree house and I'd smoke half a pack one time.
What?
I was bad, dude. I'll tell you, man.
What if one of your kids had picked up a cigarette when they were 7 years old? Would you still be beating on them now?
Yeah, they wouldn't be alive today. Yeah.
Hey, this part of the show brought to you by Steve Nichols, Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters. And, of course, Despino Gym South Tire and the Landing Restaurant of Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thanks again, BJ and Lee Davis at Davis Clothing and Outdoor had us over last week, and we had a great turnout. We got to see all kinds of cool people coming in there.
Yeah, and some cool people got some really nice $25 gift cards.
Oh, yeah. There was all kinds of cool stuff.
Homer Matlock got one. It's still in my pocket.
Oh, really? So you're going to use it for him?
Sure. He needs something. I need something that he wants.
Did anybody come pick up the Delta Waterfowl backpack? Because I think y'all said my name. I had to leave.
No, your name got disqualified.
Oh,
so
no, I said my name, and they wouldn't let me get away with it.
Y'all both got DQ'd.
On the show this week, there is a fire extinguisher recall. Is that the Kitty or Kid?
It's called Kidda.
Kidda.
I called Kidda yesterday because I saw the recall on one of the websites that alerts me on stuff of special interest. And anyway, the recall affects. You need to check your boats. Check your boat. Yeah. Because this is some of them are in these boats. The recall affects both plastic handle and push button. Mike, I don't know what this means. Pindicator. What is that? Is that a certain type of button on a fire extinguisher?
Or is it the indicator that shows how much retardant is in there?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that the gauge?
Yes, that's one of those things y'all said.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
In other words, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Well,
You're only a fireman.
But
it's the plastic.
Well, hey, we use hose. We didn't use little canisters. I've never.
I wish you wouldn't talk about those women like that.
Hoses.
The recall is between January 1 of 1973 to August 15th of 2017.
Holy crap! That's got to be like everything they've ever sold.
My home extinguisher is actually one that's on recall. They're going to send me a new one, and when you call in, they'll register your new one.
Yeah.
And they registered my one I had in my boat. My boat was fine. It was a white one, and that comes with Bayou Outdoor. It comes with Ranger. I don't know if Bayou puts them in, a Ranger does, but anyway, I was fine with my Ranger boat one. It was good.
Well, you think about it. You know, like I got two in my camper, one in the boat. We got 1, 2, 3 in the house.
Yeah, check them all.
Yeah,
if it's plastic handle and has the gauge, it's probably on recall.
Okay,
but go to our Facebook page. All this is listed. Tells you exactly what to look for on your fire extinguisher to see if you're squat. If it doesn't There's also a phone number to call, which is what I did to make sure. I called the phone number, the hotline, and they walked me through it.
You know what? You just brought up something. It's really good advice to take a look at that fire extinguisher anyway, because if you don't, the game warden will.
Mine needed recharging.
That's what I was going to say.
Home one
the
did.
game warden will take a look at that and he'll say, you're out of date on this one, or it's not got enough charge on it or something, and then they will write you a little ticket.
Yeah.
They're so happy to do that.
You get to pay to have it recharged and pay the ticket.
Yeah. Is this true? Luz bought Strike King?
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
So
The press release came out yesterday morning, but when you call anybody that may be involved, it's no comment yet.
Luz Holding Corporation, a portfolio company of Peak Rock Capital, a leading middle market private equity firm, announced today that it has acquired Strike King Lure Company, leading supplier of branded fishing lures, sunglasses, and other fishing accessories. Founded in 1964, Strike King is an iconic brand in the fishing industry. The company's innovative product portfolio, hard bait, soft plastics, blah, blah, blah. Luz and Strike King share a common vision to provide cutting-edge products to anglers and the best-in-class service to their retail partners. John Barnes and Alan Ranson, along with their dedicated employees, pro staff, manufacturing partners, have done a fantastic job driving growth at the company, and we are excited that John and Alan will remain involved with the company going forward.
Alan who?
Alan Ranson.
Okay, and John Barnes.
John Barnes.
Okay.
Which we've had on the show.
Okay, now,
John's been on the show.
We've had Alan on?
John.
John, yeah. What is the first change that you will see with this buyout? Just think about it. What's the first change you'll see? And I'm not
Kevin
talking about
Van Dam.
That's exactly right. Kevin Van Dam will go from Zebco Quantum to Luz.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be the first big change.
Yep.
And you know what? When you consider the fact that if I'd have been a betting man 10 years ago, Luz would have closed down.
Yeah, you're
10 years ago, Luz was
practically
over.
did.
And because you remember when Browning bought Luz.
Yep, I remember that.
And, the days of the old BB1Ns and all of that was all over with, and everything was on the Browning patent. And in fact, a number of people were really disappointed because you couldn't get the old Luz products. Well, they had evidently a resurgence, some capital that came in and a marketing push. And if you look around right now, especially here in our area, look at the guys fishing tournaments and look at the number of them. Pete Daniels has been with Luz. My fishing partner has been with Luz for a long time. But you look at the number of people who are throwing Luz. And when you go to a Bayou Outdoors Bass Tournament, how often is Luz right there making sure that they've loaded you up with product, Mike, to make sure that, that guys are winning and thinking about Luz and that
They're
kind
very
of stuff.
aggressive in the industry.
And now, how much money does it take to go in? And Strike King was another one. Strike King for the longest had kind of petered out to the point to where the only thing really that they had that was worth anything was a spinnerbait. And now they're a front runner in soft plastics, hard baits, spinnerbaits, buzz baits, you name it.
Well, the resurgence from Strike King came from John Barnes.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But when you hear,
John Barnes and Blissmersky sales.
Now, question: is this Luz purchasing Strike King, or is this Luz merging with Strike King, or is this vice versa? Will everything take on the Strike King label head?
I don't know the answer to that, but I don't think either one of them would benefit by changing labels.
Yeah,
right.
I think
it doesn't matter who owns you.
Yeah, true.
Luz needs to keep the Luz name.
Right.
And Strike King needs to keep the Strike King name.
It just shows you
still, just like Zoom, the most recognizable name in the fishing industry is Strike King.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who that is.
Well, one of the things, because we also just found out that Pradco has bought War Eagle boats. And I've got a War Eagle boat that the boys use for duck hunting. Love that War Eagle boat.
No, they bought War Eagle custom lures.
Oh, I thought it was War Eagle boats.
No, War Eagle
okay,
custom
so
lures.
you're talking about the War Eagle spinnerbaits and things of that nature.
Which, according to this, and I didn't know this, they were founded 21 years ago by Keith Brashers. They only commanded, maybe this is a lot, 9.3% of the market share in spinnerbaits. Does it sound like a lot?
As many spinnerbait companies as there are out there,
I would say
that was a lot.
Yeah, maybe. According to the 2016 annual Anglers Trend Report by Southwick Associates, it's the best-selling model is the Screaming Eagle. which is probably true. A weight back forward spinnerbait designed to be burned in clear water situations to entice strikes.
Okay, question. With Pradco doing this, one of the things that I had issue with was when Pradco bought Riverside Lures. Riverside made the big wag, the big claw.
Right.
And immediately they discontinued it.
Yeah.
It was probably the best worm that was ever
staple.
made.
But it was a competition to something they were already making. You buy your competition and you get rid of it.
To eliminate it. That's
That's
right.
it. It was outselling what they were already selling.
But why wouldn't they discontinue what they had and stay with the one that was obviously a superior product?
Now,
If you get rid of the superior product, then second place comes in first.
And the loser is the fisherman.
Yeah, right.
and I don't think anything changes as far as the visual public is concerned. With when you look at a War Eagle spinnerbait package, I think it's still going to be just like it is today. I don't think that'll change.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's going to say it may say Pradco somewhere on the back or something owned by Pradco. But
Pradco's got Bomber, don't they?
Yeah, they have
Pradco's
Bomber.
got so many different lines.
Yeah, they got several.
When you consider now, at what point will Pradco and Lose or Pradco Strike King, whatever they go with, at what point will they merge or be bought out?
Well, who knows? Whoever thought that Johnny Morris would own Ranger Boat, Triton Boat, and Stratus?
And Cabela's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you consider,
All within 2 or 3 years of each other.
Yeah. Oh, I got some updates for you. It was this time last week. Uncle Gary was slinging lead all over DeSoto Parish, shooting at all the deer. We got to tell the story over at Davis.
And
he'd shot at 7 deer and missed. Well, he shot another one Sunday morning and missed it. Jeff Pate is down there right now, working on one of the pits, on one of the gas wells there on the place. And he shoots me a text earlier this morning. He said, "Did Uncle Gary shoot this morning?" And I said, "I don't know. So I'll check." And I did. He has shot at 2 more deer today and missed those. That's 10 deer he has shot at and yet to connect.
And he's on his way where?
He said he was coming to town to buy him a new rifle. Jeff says, y'all need to chip in and buy him a new scope or a rifle or both.
I'm telling you.
I think he needs a shotgun.
Yeah.
Go with a slug.
I don't understand.
No,
that.
you don't need a slug.
Well,
he needs buckshot.
They end up with a buckshot. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What do we got? Outdoor Outlaws coming up on today's show. The BASS Rookie of the Year. Is it Dustin Connell or Cannell?
Cannell.
Cannell?
Yeah, well, matter of fact, when he answered the phone, his voice message said Connell.
Connell?
Yeah, Dustin Connell.
Okay.
He needs to learn how to spell his own name.
I just say Cannell.
He needs an I or an A on the end of that to be correct.
Canella.
Canella or Canella.
Let's see. Quail hunting with a dog from Champion Bloodlines.
Yeah,
Graf's got the unbelievable hunting and
I
fishing
got a true
story.
story on this. This is a full-time experience. Hunter will enjoy this.
Let's see. What else is going on?
Elite Series Pro Stephen Browning.
Pate says, "Wait a minute." He says, "I'll be in danger down here with Uncle Gary if he starts slinging buckshot. We don't want him with a shotgun." Stephen Browning is going to be on the show, just like you said.
Yeah.
Hunter Mulligan's got a recent update for us on what's going on in the woods.
What's happening in the woods?
I think the rut's on.
He's going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yep.
V&M's best times to fish a little bit later, and next week we're going to be live from Commercial Power Equipment.
Yep. Paul Sutherland's going to host us. And
Has he got more of those hammerhead? Can we do some hammerhead races?
We ought to do some hammerhead.
That's what we need to do.
Some hammerhead races.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. I think I could take both of you.
I think you could too.
I do.
No.
I ain't scared.
No, I ain't.
I have
scared
nothing to live
It doesn't
for.
matter. He did dirt track.
Yeah.
Hey,
You lose.
hey. I have skidded 25 yards on pavement before from a freaking
Okay,
go-kart.
I put that. You've already lost.
So I have experience as well.
Hey, we got some outdoor outlaws lined up for you. That's next. Hooking up and tracking down. 11:30, the Tiger.
know it's true. Yeah, you know.
course, this show would not be possible without these fine sponsors: Daiwa Rods and Reels, J&J Exterminating, B&M Baits, Commercial Power Equipment, and Silver Star Smokehouse. Book your holiday party now as dates are filling fast. How about it, Gary McCoy?
If you're looking,
how about it?
How about you?
Yeah, I'm just reading the script, you know?
How about if you're looking for that hunt of a lifetime, let Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters show you what big game hunting is all about. Whether it's hunting bear in Alaska or those big ram sheep in the Colorado Rockies, Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters will take care of you from the time your boots hit the ground till you head back home. Their cooks, guides, and staff will work hard to make sure your hunt is exactly what you thought it would be. So if you're looking for trophy-class animals, give Bucks and Bulls Guides and Outfitters a call, 801-785-5050. That's 801-785-5050. Or just go to bucksandbulls.com to learn more.
We wasn't interrupting you, Gary. We and Mike trying to have a conversation over
That's
here.
what I heard.
Yeah, right in the middle of airtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about it?
How about it? Got some outdoor outlaws for you this morning.
Woo! Let it rip, tater chip. Haynesville man cited for deer hunting violations. Who would have ever thunk it? October 28th in Claiborne Parish, agents cited Roy W. Odom, 66, old enough to know better, taking over the daily bag limit of antlerless deer and failing to comply with deer tagging requirements. Well, if you're going to kill too many, you can't tag them. Agents received a public tip about a man cleaning two doe deer at a shop near Haynesville about 10 p.m. Seems a little late in the evening. Agents responded to the scene, found Odom currently cleaning one doe with another uncleaned doe on the ground next to him. During questioning, Odom admitted to harvesting both deer earlier that day. Kind of hard to deny. Hunters were only allowed one antlerless and one antlered deer per day during either sex dates in the area Odom was hunting. Agents also found both deer without the required deer tags. Possessing over the daily limit of deer brings $250 to $500 fine and up to 90 days in jail. Failing to comply with deer tagging requirements carries $150 to $300 fine and up to 60 days in jail. Odom also face up to $3,250 for civil restitution for the replacement value of the deer.
Okay, question for you here.
Wow.
I got a question. What determines whether you get $200 or $500, $250 or $500 fine, and what determines whether you get the fine or 90 days in jail?
That's what I was going to ask. You
Okay.
know, I mean, how bad's it got to be if the judge says you pay the max and do 90 days?
All I've got
I
to
can
do is
answer
get
this
to
for
my
y'all.
backyard where I can dig up a mayonnaise jar. I can get you $500. I can't come up with it 90 extra days very quick.
It's going to be the fact that how many times has he been, come before the judge, and how many times has he been convicted?
No, it's going to be coming down to what judge he goes before.
That has a lot to
Really?
do with it as well.
Oh,
Do you think you
absolutely.
could be a
there
first-time
are
violator and
judges
do-
out there that put no value in wildlife violations.
Yeah, and then there are some that take it to
Like
another.
your
extreme.
brother-in-law,
Yeah.
this guy's going to get the electric chair.
All
Mike
right.
don't play when it comes to the wildlife and stuff.
Amethyst Bear, 31 of Monroe, who shot LDWF senior agent Tyler Wheeler on October 23rd, pled guilty in Bossier Parish Court to attempted.
This was this year. That's not the warden that was shot last year.
No, it was on October 23rd. She pled guilty.
Oh, okay.
Attempted first-degree murder of a police officer, obstruction of justice, illegal possession of a stolen vehicle, illegal possession of a stolen firearm. Sentencing of Bear is scheduled for January 26th at the Morehouse Parish Courthouse.
Why do you think they had to move that to Bossier? Did they think that she couldn't get a fair trial there?
I hope that's the
Where
reason.
she was?
I would think so. I
Okay.
would think so.
Okay.
Senior Agent Wheeler, 25, was shot 4 times, including once in the head and once in the back while questioning Bear at around 2 a.m.
Who said her pistol accidentally went off?
Yeah.
Is that what she said?
No.
On January 7th, on Highway 165 between Sterlington and Bastrop in Morehouse Parish. After numerous surgeries and countless hours of physical therapy and lots of prayers, Wheeler was cleared to return to full-time duty in late July. Guys, to me, that is an absolute miracle.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
miracle.
If you don't believe God was
Oh,
involved
my
in that,
gosh.
you need to do some really serious soul searching.
Yes. And anyway, moving forward, Wheeler's first day back in uniform was August the 4th of this year. Went through a week of in-service training before beginning his first week of patrol duties on August 14th. Jeremy Gillette, 34 of Monroe, who was arrested for one count of accessory after the fact to attempted first-degree murder for his alleged role in the case, is still awaiting trial at this time.
Imagine you're that young game warden.
Yeah.
The first time he's got to approach a vehicle.
Dude.
I don't want to be the person in the vehicle.
Well, I don't want to be him having to do it.
Yeah.
The anxiety he's got to have is off the chart.
I can't imagine. No. You think about the stuff that you've gone through in your life, and you had, everybody says, you fell off, just get back on and ride again.
20 years from now, he'll still be cautious.
Golly.
Now, we're going to skip the next one. You do the last one, or the one that's on the next page.
Oh, okay. Harris County game wardens observed a vehicle.
Well, you didn't do the title first.
Keys, new underwear, and drugs. And a Nike golf
There's been several times when I went hunting, I needed to do
baseball
underwear.
cap. Harris County game wardens observed a vehicle parked in a no trespassing area. The suspected owner of the vehicle was wade fishing in the bay. The subject was on the way back to the vehicle, unaware that the two wardens were observing from nearby. The subject needed a change of underwear as wardens jumped out of the bushes and startled the man. The subject did not possess a valid fishing license, had a suspended driver's license, and an expired vehicle registration. The subject had locked the keys in the vehicle, and a wrecker was called to the scene to tow the vehicle off the private property. He just thought it was going to be a little bad day. I've locked my keys. I'm going to fish anyway. I'll call them later. And then the game wardens are there.
Little did
Anyway,
you know.
while being allowed to obtain his personal belongings, the subject opened a wadded-up double bubble gum wrapper and swallowed the contents. The subject was detained. A search revealed roughly 7 grams of crystal meth pipe and a cooking spoon, roughly 60 opiate pills, less than 1 gram of heroin, and less than 1 gram of marijuana. The subject he ate all of that? That was in the Hubba Bubba wrapper?
That's what I don't know what, I think marijuana was probably in the Hubba Bubba bag.
Okay.
I wouldn't see him swallow that pipe and spoon.
The subject was arrested and transported to jail by Harris County deputies. The individual was charged with possession of a controlled substance, fishing violations, and stupidity.
Yes.
The subject has also been deemed unable to reproduce. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Now the subject has also been deemed unable to reproduce. Where did that come up in the
That was
conversation?
something Graf added.
No, that's
to
what
it.
the game board put on his report.
Too stupid to be allowed to reproduce.
Yeah.
Exactly. That'd be even better.
Hey, you know what? I got a little notice. Lee and BJ Davis. Thanks again to them for letting us come over last week.
Yep.
I gotta thank them. They sent me a notice that tomorrow evening they're at Davis Clothing and Outdoors. If you are a waterfowler, they're going to have the Haydell boys over there from 4 until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. It's actually Kelly Haydell with Haydell's Game Calls is going to cover everything there. It's a big seminar from the basics with a mallard call to advanced calling and techniques. Participants are more than welcome to bring up various topics anytime during the event. So 4 to 6 tomorrow afternoon. You're an old hand, but maybe your calling needs a little bit of polishing, or you're somebody brand new to the sport. And you're wanting to learn a little bit more.
If you're novice, this is a class for you.
What was the best advice you could ever give somebody when they first started calling ducks?
Don't call.
Well, I don't. Although I duck hunt almost 7 days a week during the season, on a scale to 1 to 10, as far as being a duck caller, I'm probably about a 5.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
Now, do you practice your calling?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I've been practicing. I finally give up practicing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, most people that are what you would say he can really blow a duck call are people that like to be heard and do the competition calling. Because really, duck hunting, duck calling
is not competition calling.
No, and it's pretty ordinary. It's
Yeah.
not something, you blow 5 notes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
The biggest improvement I've ever made in duck calling was when I started hunting with Ricky Lee, who on a scale to 1 to 10 blowing a duck call is probably a 4.
Really?
Yeah. On a scale to 1 to 10 of knowing when to blow the call, he's an 11.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
See,
Yeah.
that's what Kelly and Rod have both told me is that the most important thing to know is when to call and when to shut up.
Yeah.
Know when to blow.
Yeah.
That's right.
So duck season opens up this Saturday. Are you
this Saturday in the west zone? Next Saturday in the east zone, it is the youth hunt.
Yeah.
But it also runs in conjunction with the early specklebelly season, which started last Saturday. So, if you are hunting in the east zone of Louisiana, and you're torn between taking a youth hunting, do not get caught out in the blind with a youth and their shotgun, thinking that you can be there in your shotgun
shooting geese.
Right, you can't do it.
Right,
that's right.
Right.
Dwayne Chapman is got a lease over there in Marouge. He's going to take a youth, and they're going to go to the blind with just him and the youth's gun till 8 o'clock. And then the youth is going to get on his bicycle and get out of the rice field and pedal
You
back.
got to go, boy.
Pedal back to Minden, and then they're going to get in the blind with their guns. But they've changed the laws, darn it, to where you can't take a youth hunting and you have your gun with you.
Yeah.
Now this weekend, Mike, what are you thinking? The weather changes this week. Could have a good effect.
This might.
It's a strong northern cold front.
Yeah, this is actually shaping up to be a fairly good opening weekend.
Yeah.
If you're on some places where there are some ducks. There are some ducks down. They are isolated.
Yeah.
Now, I know one guy that went to a private place Monday, and literally saw close to 1,000 ducks.
Yeah.
Big ducks?
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of them. A lot
Toledo
of them are big
Bend.
ducks. Yeah.
I was on Toledo Bend Monday. A lot of ducks on Toledo Bend.
Really?
Yep.
So,
Me
but
and,
that does
Darryl
not
Gleason
mean
went
that
out.
that you hear this report. You're going to go buy you some waders, grow your beard, and paint your face, and just go out there and stand around somebody's duck blind. Opening.
Good
day.
luck with that.
But I think there'll be some ducks killed this weekend.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm anxious to see how it all plays out. Obviously, that'll be the big discussion next
Okay,
week.
one more. We're still in Outdoor Outlaws, aren't we? Yeah. Let's do this one quick. Alan Parrish. That's not a guy's name. That's a location in Louisiana. 42-year-old woman is dead following an incident at West Bay Management Area Sunday afternoon. The man who was with her, David Strother, claimed he stumbled and the .30-06 rifle he was carrying discharged because he did not have the safety on, Allen Parish Sheriff Doug Abair said. She was shot from 15 to 20 feet away. Strother failed field sobriety test and had marijuana and crystal methamphetamines on him, Abair said. He also admitted to drinking alcohol that was found in the vehicle. The Allen Parish Sheriff's Department charged Strother with negligent homicide. Strother also faces charges of drug possession and hunting while impaired on management area from Wildlife and Fisheries. The sheriff's office received the call around 4:31 p.m. Sunday. The woman had gone with Strother to West Bay. She was pronounced dead at Oakland Community Hospital.
Wow.
We generally try to put a little humorous twist on all the Outdoor Outlaws.
Yeah, don't go
but
there.
You got to leave this one alone.
We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger.
The Hook It Up and Track It Down show thanks you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by K2 Coolers, Nichols Department Stores, and Bellevue Meat Processing, offering a variety of Louisiana-made products and their newest line of sausage, Pineapple Sweet and Hot. No one does it like Bellevue Meats. Here's Steve, Gary, and Mike.
Thanks a lot for tuning in. Gary McCoy, along with the old Ranger, Iowa Pro Staffer Steve Graff. He is also the mud hen, Mike Eccles. And a little word for us from Davis Clothing and Outdoors.
If you have not been to Davis Clothing and Outdoors, you have completely missed the boat, my friend. BJ and Lee Davis have an awesome selection of outerwear for the hunter, fisherman, golfer, and the working man. Brands like Drake, Hook, Carhartt, and Dickies. Also, check out the entire line of selections of guns available and ammo, and some great hunting accessories. Go to davisclothingandoutdoor.com to learn more. Davis Clothing and Outdoor, taking outdoors to another level.
BASS Rookie of the Year, Dustin Connell. Dustin Connell, is that the right way to say it?
That's right.
Oh, see,
Connell.
I kept telling Graff that it was not Connell, that it was Connell. And he kept saying, no, you got to say it, it's Connell. And I'm like, no, it's Connell. Yeah.
And I told him you needed a vowel on the end. You weren't spelling your name correct.
Mike thinks you need an A on the end of it, Cannella.
Yeah, funny story about that is I played baseball all throughout like 14 years of, school. And I had my name called Connell, Cornell, Connell, and I was like, no, it's Connell.
Hey, what was your walkout song the last year you played ball?
Really, I don't even think I remember it. I think it was I think I was gonna be cool, and I think I put on the Danger Zone. It was the Danger Zone. I think it was the Top Gun song.
We didn't have walkout songs when I played. Wasn't no walkout song.
But back when you played, that was you could take your baseball mitt and shove it in your back pocket.
There you go, fold it up.
Okay, Dustin, you decided to put down the baseball bat and the glove, and you picked up a rod and reel, and you are this year's BASS Rookie of the Year. Do you realize what kind of doors that's opened for you?
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment, by far. If you look at the past rookie guys and the success that they've had, that really speaks a lot, and man, I'm just glad to have that title.
What would you say is if you look back over the course of the year, was there a defining moment when things just kind of fell into place for you? Was there a decision that you made? Was there a relationship that you forged? Was there one moment when you said, I can do this?
To be honest, there was probably a couple moments like that. One of the first moments was the first tournament of the year, and it was at Cherokee Lake. Well, for me, making the first cut of my career, going to day 3 was a big deal for me. But for one, I proved to myself, hey, I do belong here, and I can catch on and compete, And another thing is I end up getting paid and getting a fish at the next tournament. Because I'll be honest, I didn't have a lot of sponsor help, and I still don't, but I knew that my fishing ability, I belonged here. And then I think the second moment was after Toledo Bend. I didn't get paid, and I didn't make day 3 cut. So I really got to feel both sides of it, and I said, all right. And it really pushed me the rest of the season to become better, so it motivated me.
Hey, Dustin, Mike Eccles here. Let's back up to the beginning. What does it take to qualify as Rookie of the Year for BASS? Is it the first-year angler with the most points at the end of the year?
Yeah, they've got two different sides of it, I guess. For example,
they're called categories, but I'll help you out here.
Yeah, two different categories, which there's, Jacob Wheeler, for example, he was considered a rookie for the year, but he won too much money, I guess, before he got here, and he's been at FLW, so he wasn't in the rookie class. He was a newcomer.
Yeah.
But all the true rookies, I think there was 11 of them, or maybe 12. they take your points throughout the whole season, and if you finish above, I guess, all of them, you are Rookie of the Year. And for me, and my mentality this year was you only have one rookie year, and that's the title you want to win. You know, you want to win AOY, Angler of the Year, but that's still a huge goal.
Dustin, where are you from?
I'm Clanton, Alabama.
Okay, you know what? Has anybody ever told you you talk just like Mike Iaconelli?
Yeah, really?
No.
No.
You're more closer to Gerald Swindle.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, it was either Alabama or Georgia, one of the two. And I'm sure if I'd have said you were from Georgia, you'd have cussed me.
Now, Dustin, me and you talked.
I'm dead in the center of Alabama.
Me and you talked last night a little bit on the phone for a little while, and you know one of the topics on our show later today is we got Stephen Browning coming on to talk about the financial difficulties of fishing the highest level. Tell us, you know, me and you talked about how you're doing it the hard way. I mean, you don't have a bunch of people paying entry fees and all that. Talk a little bit about that and the strain that's involved with trying to make it as a elite series angler.
Well, you know, there's definitely two sides to professional bass fishing, like I said earlier, but there's a financial side and there's a fishing side and an ability side. If you can put both of those together, then you can be successful out here. You know, and to be honest, man, I've had a lot of success locally here in Alabama, and I fished in college, had some success. But once you step out there on that national level like that, nobody knows your name. Right. So, especially a lot of these big companies or any kind of sponsor relations like that. So it's just really hard coming out of nowhere and getting your name out there. It's hard to go out here without a lot of help and stay there. Now, one of my number one goals is, and I think I talked to you know, last night or the day before, was the process to getting at this level isn't the sponsor side of things, it's the fishing side. Perfecting your skill, and then once you get at this level, that's something no one can take away from you. If you go out there and you catch them and you win,
Well,
you still there?
He just we lost him.
We lost him.
He'll call back. You know, this is the number one question that young people ask, young anglers, is how do you get sponsors? Well, that's the last question they should be. You know, and I've been there. I've been there thinking that if you had the patches and you know, and you had the names and stuff like that, that would make you a better fisherman. It has nothing. to do with your fishing ability. Matter of fact, it can hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're worried about sponsors, making sponsors happy, sponsor obligation, it takes away from your time on the water and your ability to focus 100% on fishing.
Right.
You know, that's the reason you rarely see somebody win the Classic or the Cup the first year and then turn around and do the same thing the next year because their time has been cut down.
Yeah. And Dustin's back on the phone with us.
Okay.
Dustin, you know what? I got a big question because we were as we lost you were talking about, you know, your fishing ability and how important that was to hone that. Which one would you say? Which one, if you could only have one of two abilities, which one would it be? Would it be finding fish or staying on fish for that extended 3 or 4 days?
I would have to say finding fish.
Yeah.
Because
if you don't find them, you can't stay on them.
Yeah.
Well, true. Yeah.
Finding fish, because here's the thing. Sometimes you got to let a pattern develop. You know, the weather may change on Monday in practice. The tournament starts Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be raining on Thursday, and I may go swim a jig shallow all week and I don't get a bite. But Thursday morning, the rain changes everything. So basically finding fish and staying open-minded is probably what I would do.
What would you say is there a little clock in your head that says it's time to give up on this, it's time to do something different?
Absolutely. There's, in my mind, what I've always said, if you do something for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours max, and you don't get a bite, got to change. You got because there's thousands of fish in a river system or a lake, and you can always at least get a bite. And you can't really force it to happen. So I normally change after that amount of time.
About 10 minutes.
But you know
about
what?
10 minutes,
No,
I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
But I'm going to defend Eccles on this. You don't just randomly change. You are really good about, when you see like a current system or something like that. When you see a change in the dynamics of the situation, you'll fish that moment. But you didn't get rid of the jig that was tied on or whatever the case might be.
Finding fish is always been my biggest downfall. Always.
Now, Dustin, another thing, too, that I tell when I have had the opportunity to speak to some young anglers is you got to develop confidence in a particular style or bait. That you need to have something that when chips are down, you're like, my God, I got to pick a jig up, or I got to pick up a trick worm that I know I can catch them on it. How true is that you need that confidence bait?
I think everybody's style of fishing is so different. You got some guys that really like throwing a crankbait or a jerkbait, and you got some guys that are slower pace. Mm-hmm. For me, I may not be able to do what I really love to do. I'm going to go out there and try to do my strengths first. If I go practice all day and I'm doing my strengths and they're not really working, like I like moving fast, then I'm forced. I have to go do something I don't want to do, but I know that's the right thing to do. Slow down, pull out a worm, a shaky hit, and just get a bite.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do that.
Are you a power guy? So you're more of a power guy. Spinnerbait, crankbait, jig?
Yeah, I like fishing fast. I want to find, either a school of fish or run into them and make them bite, and that works a lot, and sometimes it don't. You got to slow it up way down. That's tough for me, though.
It's like I heard Larry Nixon say one time, I'm looking for the dumbest group of fish I can find.
What do you think is next when it comes to your electronics? What do you think's on the horizon, something that we hadn't even considered yet?
I hadn't really thought about that, but I wouldn't doubt that there's going to be something to do with electronics come along to where it's just on another level.
I think it's going to be side imaging porn.
I think it's going to be video, is what I think.
Yeah, something along with the electronics, because there's so much technology coming out now that they're going to have something come along to where you can actually see underneath the boat, and it's like a video or something.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it'll be video. Yeah.
So Dustin, because we were talking a minute ago about your favorite style of fishing, you got three lures in the boat. That's it. There's only three, and they're only in one color. What three lures are in Dustin's boat, and what colors are each of those three?
I would definitely pick a jig of some sort. It's either going to be just like a casting jig or maybe one swim jig. I have a jerk bait in there, and I would have probably some type of swim bait. That's what I'd have, and I'd have the jig. My favorite color is going to be Okeechobee Crawl, because I can throw that in dingy water or clear water. A jerk bait, my favorite color is probably a sexy shad color or crystal shad. And then the third, the swim bait, is I really like throwing a 6 cent swim bait. It's a hollow belly swim bait, and I can throw that all over the country. So
really?
That's my, yep.
Huh.
Okay, Dustin, jerk bait, apparently your second favorite bait to throw. What's the dirtiest water or visibility that you will pick up a jerk bait? And see, around here, a jerk bait for us is it's a rogue. I mean, you throw it on the top and you twitch it twice and you bring it in.
Bango lure.
Yeah, something like that. What's the dirtiest water that you'll throw a jerk bait in and feel like the fish will respond to it?
Actually, I was fishing. I live right here on the Coosa River, so I fish on Lake Mitchell, Lake Jordan, and I found out that a lot of times if the water is dirty, now we're not talking about chocolate milk, but if it's 1 foot of visibility, you can put on a chartreuse, type jerkbait, something that's really bright, and you can get those fish to bite. If they're still, you got to think, if they're still eating shad and there's a 2 or 3 inch shad down there, you can't see it, but they can feel that bait, and they'll eat it. So I caught them in muddy water. Probably 1 foot of visibility. If it's less than that, I normally change to a spinnerbait. But I just brighten my colors up when it gets dirty.
Okay.
Dustin, congratulations on what you've accomplished already, and good luck to you in what's coming next, because you're now one of the elite, and that's not a feat easily accomplished.
Yeah, I tell you, I'll be honest with you, I've always dreamed of being at this level, and I'm just grateful to be here, and I just love bass fishing, and I hope I get to keep doing it for a long time.
Well, we appreciate it, Dustin. Thank you for being with us, man. Good luck this next year.
Yeah. Hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
All right.
Dustin Connell.
Connell.
There, see, we got it right. I knew I'd get you coaxed
you threw me
to
under
the
bus
right
after
way.
I taught you how to say it.
We're hooking up and tracking down. Grass fixing to tell us a big old lie. Sit tight.
There ain't no lie.
11:30, the Tiger.
All right, Jay Wilder here, and of course we at Hooking Up and Tracking Down love to be social, so check out our Facebook page at Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show for outdoors news and some great educational videos. This segment presented by United Rentals, Cypress Knee Outdoors, along with Bucks and Bulls Outfitters. Book your next big game hunting adventure by going to bucksandbulls.com.
Today, so many products we use are made overseas, costing American jobs and income. But there's one company that's making products right here in Louisiana, K2 Coolers, a real company that makes a real cooler at a real affordable price. Say goodbye to high-dollar coolers and hello to K2. Whether you hunt, fish, camp, or tailgate, K2 Coolers has what you need, large or small. To see the K2 Cooler lineup, go to Paul's Farm and Garden on North Market in Shreveport or go to K2Coolers.com.
Got a text a little while ago.
Travis Chapman
texted and said, hey, that because we can't hear it. They said that while we were doing the mention a little while ago of what was going on at Davis Clothing and Outdoors tomorrow for waterfowl hunters, that the alarm went off. So it's going to be from 4 until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, Davis Clothing and Outdoors. Kelly Haydell is going to give a big seminar in regards to duck calling. He's going to cover everything from the basics with a mallard call to advanced calling and techniques. Participants are more than welcome to bring up various topics anytime during the event. 4 to 6 tomorrow. All ages are welcome. It's just tomorrow there at Davis Clothing and Outdoors, right there at the intersection of what is that, Shed Road and Viking Drive?
Swan Lake
and Viking Drive in Bossier City. Just stop by and take advantage of that. I'm sure they'll have some specials on some of the Haydale's game calls and things of that nature. But 4 to 6 tomorrow afternoon. Okay.
Before you get in that,
it takes a while, so hurry.
Okay, I'll hurry. Well, let me tell you. Now, we were talking about the duck caller, and I said you were talking about more important to know when to call, when not to call. Let me tell you something else that's very, very critical. That's when you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 ducks like that. The guys that are really good are the ones that can look at that bunch of ducks, and when they blow the duck call, they'll see one duck in that bunch react.
Yeah.
If it's nothing but tip a wing or stop beating the wing, they got one duck, and then they rule out all the other ducks and they concentrate on that one duck and they call it in. If you can make one duck respond, most of the time either that duck will come in or they will follow it.
Yeah.
That is something that really separates a duck hunter. Know when to call, when not to call, but pick out that one duck. When you blow the call, that duck's listening to you. Right. You talk to that one duck.
I'll be done.
All right, I'm going to set this up. The title of this would be Quail Hunting with a Dog from a Champion Bloodlines. Now, you got to understand, and Hunter Mulligan, I know he's listening right now. He'll get a kick out of this because his uncle, Ken, he's over in East Texas, boy, and Ken, we'd always walked birds up. Every hunting trip we ever went on, we didn't use dogs, quail hunting out in West Texas. So we would line up 7, 8 of us across the field, and we just walk birds up, walk coveys up. That's what we do all day. Well, he calls me about 2 months one year before we're going to head out there. He says, boy, I have got us, sure enough, a champion bird dog. I said, really? He said, yep, I have gone to Alabama, and I have picked out a champion bloodline bird dog, and I bought that sucker. I said, oh, man, that's awesome, kid. I can't wait, man. We're going to go out there and hunt behind the dog. I never hunted behind a dog.
Yeah.
I always heard how great it was, and so I was excited. So sure enough, the trip came around. We loaded up. We headed for West Texas, and we make a couple of stops out there along the way. And he gets the dog out of the box and walks him around. Boy, he's a good-looking dog. Looks like freaking Bo Jackson walking around out there. You know, he's a stud. You know, I'm like, dude, we got us a dog, man. We're all fired up. And so we get out there, and first morning of the hunt, well, Hunter is always the guy. He's our map guy.
Okay.
That's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
So he'll meet with a landowner on the hood of a pickup truck and get everything lined out where we can and cannot go and can't hunt. Don't cross this fence or that fence.
Don't go back down that creek.
Watch where you're going. Anyway, he gets it all lined out. We're standing outside the trucks, and we're getting all of our gear on. You know, getting our bird bags on and getting our shotguns loaded and just getting ready. Well, Ken looks at us, and he said, all right, boys, y'all ready? I said, heck yeah, man, let's go. I can't wait for this. He opened the gate on that dog box, and it looked like the gates had been opened at the Kentucky Derby. That dog shot out that box like he come out of a cannon, and he flew off to that tailgate. He did a standing broad jump for 14 feet before his feet hit the ground, and he is on a dead sprint away from us at 50 miles an hour. And he ain't checked up. He just takes off, and there ain't nothing but dust being kicked
Y'all
up.
hollering at him and everything, and
he ain't stopping.
Is he on a point?
He ain't doing nothing.
He is headed east to Alabama.
He is headed back to Alabama, Jack. And we're all standing there and got our guns up. You know, we're like,
shoot the dog.
I looked at Ken. I said, Ken, I think he's supposed to hunt a little closer in than this. He said, that gummit, what's that stupid dog doing? I said, well, I don't know, but I know the bloodline. He's got some greyhound in that sucker. I said, I can tell you that right now. We found that dog at 6 o'clock that evening.
Did that kill the hunt?
No, we just spread out like we always did and hunted. Now, we had a pretty good hunt, but anyway, we got out there and we found a dog right at dark on the side of the road.
Was he pointed?
No, he was laying down.
No, he's on the road with one thumb up like that.
Hitchhiking east. Alabama or boy.
Yeah.
So the next day, Ken goes, you know, we eating breakfast that next morning, and I said, well, Ken, what's the plan for the day? He said, well, I got that shock collar today, boys. He said, let that sucker come out of there today. So we getting all ready again. We're at the truck, guns ready. All right, Ken, let's go. Let's see if he'll hunt closer to the truck today instead of 14 miles down the road. He opened the gate on that box, and I'm telling you, it was an instant replay. That dog shot out that freaking box like he was going to freaking back to Alabama.
Uh-huh.
And he come out of hitting the ground. He took off running, had the shock collar on him. Well, Ken can't find his button. So he's going to the
Dog's
truck.
out of range.
He's going to the truck. He's digging, gummit, where's that button at? And he can't find. He finally finds it, and he comes out. He hits that button. That dog's over the ridge. We can't even see him. He's so far. All you heard was, oh, oh! Every time he hit that button. We found that dog at 5 o'clock that evening. We still couldn't get that dog to hunt.
So that was the end of hunting with the
that
dog.
ended the dog deal. I said, you need to take your dog and get your money back.
You know what? It makes you wonder, how often do guys go through that with rabbit dogs or squirrel dogs? Or,
I'm telling you.
I mean, my wife told me the other day, we've got a little, I don't know what he is, some little mixture. I think he's got some Jack Russell in him. She says, she said, I believe he would trail a dead deer. I believe you could take him to the deer camp. I believe he would blood trail. And I've kind of played with him a little bit, and I said, but the only problem would be is like he might trail a deer, but you would never know if he found it. He would never. He'd never bark, never nothing.
Meredith's Yorkie Poo is like that. He'll tree a squirrel in a heartbit.
Yeah.
But he don't bark. He just sits at the tree, and I'm like, if you took him in the woods, you'd lose him because you can't find him.
See, that'd be the thing. How do you?
A lot of the blood trailing dogs. They have to keep them on a long rope.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, with your son, I mean, he's trained squirrel dogs with Michael. I mean, how do you, is the dogs that he's got, is that just a natural thing, or do you have to train
most
them
of
to
it
bark?
is. He hunts the mountain cur. He's got one Cajun, real good dog, and a mountain cur, and that's something that's just bred into them. They know how to hunt close. They respond to your voice, and sometimes even, just voice commands, stuff like that. But most of it, and they've got he's got the e-collar with the GPS on it.
Yeah.
He can tell you exactly where the dog is, and he can hit a button on there, and that dog knows I need to start heading back.
You know
we had another dog too, real quick, called Cornbread. Mm-hmm. Well, when you hear a dog's name Cornbread, he probably ain't good for much. He was a bird dog. He let the cornbread, he fell out the box when he got out the truck. He would fall out on the ground. And I said, Ken, at least we ain't got to chase this one here. He said, no. He said, he'll be all right. That dog made a round around the truck. He walked one time around the truck and stopped and laid down at the tailgate and said, I'm done.
Is Ken still with us?
Yeah, he's still with us.
I got a few dogs I bet I could sell him. Because it sounds to me like he's pretty easy to impress.
Oh, Cornbread.
We are hooking up and tracking down here in just a minute. We've got Elite Series Pro Stephen Browning. You've been wanting to hear from him. He is coming up here, and the financial commitments that are required to fish the highest levels of bass tournaments. You think you want to be an Elite Series Pro?
Exactly.
You better get your wallet out and be prepared to sell yourself on every possible level. He's next. We are hooking up and tracking down 1130 The Tiger.
right, welcome back to hour number 2 of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. This segment presented by Ranger Boats, Despino and Jim's Big South Tire, the Red River Waterway Commission, Stingray Line Cutter, and Commercial Power Equipment, home of the Landmaster Crew Hybrid UTV. Go buy Commercial Power Equipment today and check them out.
Gary McCoy, along with the old Ranger Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff, the Mud Hen Mike Eccles is here, and of course we've got the little man in the orange baseball cap in there.
Yeah, that's me.
Topwater's there.
I always have an issue saying Red River Waterway Committee. It makes me nervous every time.
I can't say regularly.
Yeah.
Can't say regularly. Let me hear you do it, Eccles.
Regularly?
There you go. Stephen Browning's on the phone. Elite Series Pro Stephen Browning. Can you say regularly?
Regularly.
Yeah. It's so funny because I've been in radio my whole professional life, and every now and then you'll see such and such car dealership is selling their trucks for $41,000 regular 50.
You got too many lollies in there.
Yeah, and I'm like, immediately I just changed the script to 50. They're normally $50,000. Well, now 41,000. Stephen, you know what? That's one of the things that's. And thank you so much for joining us. I mean, I know that your time is really.
Man, I appreciate y'all having.
But Stephen Browning is obviously successful at the highest level.
Yes.
And with that comes speaking opportunities, interview opportunities. Here you are on the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. You could be on an ESPN feature at some point. You just never know where that's going to be. And with those things, you have to work that into your schedule, whether you're tutoring on the road or you're giving some of the seminars or you're speaking at a boat dealership, whatever the case might be. When you do those, do you try to set that up so that you're being monetized for that? Because what you do is expensive.
Yeah.
And so you try to make the most out of your time. Do you try to see if you can work in a way to get paid?
Oh, absolutely. The thing about doing what I do for a living is you have a tremendous amount of travel expenses. And when I in particular approach a sponsor and the one thing that we want to do is give back more than what they give us, so to speak. And by that is appearances and things of that nature. And there is a kind of I wouldn't call it a set fee, but there is a a monetary amount that I like to get, to be able to, to be on the road. It's, and that's the deal. I mean, we spend a tremendous amount of time on the road, and we need to be compensated, and there are a lot of people in the industry that realize that, and they are very generous to do so.
Well, Steve, one of the things I want to make light of today is you want
to bring it to light, or you want to make light of it?
Bring it to light. Either one. We'll take.
Well, there's a difference.
Whichever regularly works the best. Okay. I was on the water with Daryl Gleason, a guide at Toledo Bend, and he's considering trying to make it to the elite level. He's 35 years old.
Right.
We just got to talk about the financial difficulties of trying to get the money together. Let our audience understand, explain to them the cost that's involved from the entry fees to the travel. Give them an idea of what they're looking at for anybody looking to do this.
Well, the biggest expense, without a doubt, is the entry fee. The best thing about the entry fee is, though, you have an opportunity to get that back. And, that's by your performance on the water. But you're talking, somewhere, I think it's in the $48,000 range for nine events.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is you're only guaranteed 2 days of fishing per event. So, the other thing is your hotel expenses and your gas expenses, and of course your eating and all of those can, with the exception of the gas, but the hotels and your eating can be, you can manage that a little.
Yeah, that's where if you're going to control costs, that's where you're going to control it.
That's where you're going to control cost, without a doubt. And the reason I didn't say gas is because there is opportunities on the water to control your gas expenses, but that's something that you don't want to stand in your way from being successful that particular week, or not. And I've always treated my
when you pull up to the pump at Valero, they don't care how many stickers you have on your truck or boat.
No, it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, it don't get you a
That's
discount.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
They're going to charge you
Yes.
just the same as the guy pulling up behind you to hit the gas of a vehicle. You know, the only thing is our engines, that Mercury that I'm running, if I like to keep it about PM during practice, that's going to get me about 3.8 miles to the gallon. And but when you put the hammer down on it during tournament days, I mean, you know, it's around 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 a gallon. You know, so that's, you know, that's it gets pretty expensive if you think about it. I mean, that's like every every mile you're throwing $1 out of the boat. So you kind of have to be cognizant of that during practice period. But boy, when that checker flag, I mean, not when the green flag goes down, you got to let her eat.
Yeah.
Stephen, have you ever let that become a factor in your style of fishing? And have you ever, gone through the couple of practice days and you're just like, I am not on anything. I'm just going to stay close and try to fish here and not spend a lot of money on gas?
You know, I try never to even think about doing that. The reason being, anytime you let a thought like that cross your mind, then that's in the back of your mind the whole time. You're almost giving up. You really are. I'm one of these that likes to run off the chart. I mean, I've always been that way, running as far up a creek or up the river that you can go to, and because that fits my style of fishing. And looking for that dingier water in the back ends of creeks and things like that. So I'm one that's fishing around close is probably not even an option for me about 90% of the time.
Well, the other thing too that I saw in the Bass Times magazine, which is one of the reasons I wanted you on, because I saw your response. They got 3 responses from 3 different anglers about the financial side of fishing the Elite Series. You said you break your tournaments into 2 categories. Explain that.
Yeah, well, there are some bodies of water that will just fit an individual's, taste, so to speak. I mean, you can take, for instance, Red River. I mean, when I back my boat into the Red River down there, there's no place that does not look good to me. No place. So in the back end of my mind, every time I back my boat in there, I'm going to win. I'm going to figure out something to do to win. I don't care if I have to lock twice. I don't, if I have to run up to the I-30 bridge. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Whatever it takes. The other thing is you back me into a place like, someplace up north. One of those smallmouth places that, the only time I get to fish for them is if I go pre-fish. Or if during the practice period. So the odds really don't stack up very well for me in those particular bodies of water. So what I try to do is try to say, okay, look, the last 4 times we've been up there, 16.5 pounds would get a man a check. I've got to go figure out how to catch 18 a day to get that check, get on out of here, count my blessings, count my money, and get my points. And, that's kind of how I approach each and every event.
So you say that what Stephen Browning is looking for is a little dingier water, a place that is kind of a little more home-like for you.
That's exactly right.
Would you say you're a river rat? Right. Are you more of a river rat kind of guy?
I am, but, but the deal is, like, for instance, here on around my area, I don't get to fish rivers near as much as I used to. Growing up, I fished a lot of rivers. Fished on the Arkansas, and fished on the Red, fished on the Ouachita a bunch, and even the Mississippi River. But I'm over here in Hot Springs, and we have big lakes. But the thing about it is, I can run up the rivers on these lakes, find that little bit of dingier water. There's always a little off-colored water in every man-made reservoir, and that's kind of what I go looking for when I approach events like that.
Hey, Stephen, I was contacted just the other day by Chris Bowes, BASS, and they're coming back to Red River the 3rd week of June. Will you be fishing that in an open now that you're fishing the Elite, or are you?
I've always been a big fan of the opens. You know, I know we get criticized for the, being at the elite level and wanting to come back and fish some of the opens, but the deal is, guys, we're not like golf. We don't get a pick and choose. We're not out there week in, week out. And, in order for us to truly make a really good living off of your winnings, you have to fish as many events as you possibly can. And, luckily Bass has some decent payouts on a not so expensive entry fee on the opens. And then there's always that chance of making it into the Classic. And, I've done that several times throughout my career, and I can't pass an opportunity up to drive 3 hours down the road to the Red River and compete against a lot of local guys and as well as the Elite Series guys. So I mean, the competition is just as good, on the opens because of the influence of the local pressure guys. The guys that get to fish that body of water day in, day out.
Okay, one more question, and what this whole segment's really about. We've got somebody sitting here thinking, I want to go fish the Elites. You just told us that 9 tournaments.
It's not me, though.
No.
$48,000.
$48,000 just for the entry.
Just for the entry.
This is going to kind of stretch you. Just round off the figures. What do you have to expect to do to break even? Do you have to actually win one or finish in the top 20 on 5 of those 9 to pay your expenses?
Yeah.
No, if you take the entry fees out, you realistically can get by with about 4 checks. But you put the entry fee in, and then that almost doubles.
Well,
so,
you've got to put the entry
you're
fee
looking.
in.
Yeah, well,
you might have someone else that's paying it for you.
But you're not.
True,
you're a guy that's never done this before, and you think you're good enough to do it.
Yeah.
Because I know a guy
you
that
better
did
have
it a few years.
$75,000 in your back pocket.
How many?
Before you even hit the road. 75,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I told y'all.
Before you hit the highway,
I heard 80.
you better have you 75,000 and a good credit card.
So, Stephen, you're telling me that a guy, in order to make a 6-figure income, in order to make $100,000, you're going to have to win at least $175,000, $180,000 just in order to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
you
exactly
can win
right.
one of the elites and you're still barely above it, breaking even.
You're going to come out a little bit, but
right.
yes, sir.
Well,
bit. Guys, you got to think about this. You got to think about truck payments. For that tow vehicle, you can't go out there in an older model vehicle and run up and down all over across the country. I mean, good tires. I mean, there is a tremendous amount of expenses that goes into it. Now, so I mean, just to break even, if you're going to do it and go, look, I'm going to do this without any sponsor, anybody's help, I can do this, I can do it on my own, you better have you $75,000 in your back pocket, because it doesn't take long. You miss 3 or 4 checks, and the next thing you know, dead comes that now you've got to win one.
Right.
Now you've got to, finish in the top 5, and that just builds.
Now, Stephen, let's just say, out of 100 elite guys, how many of those 100 elite guys are getting their entry fees paid for? Ballpark it.
I honestly think that probably about there's probably 60% of the guys that should be able to get their entry fees paid.
Really?
And the other 40% is they work on the side. I would venture to guess that there's probably only, maybe 25-30% of us that just do this full time.
Okay.
Nothing else. Nothing else. I've been very blessed since 1997. I left a job at the state of Arkansas, and through my sponsorships, I have not had to seek another paying job since 1997. That's 20 years, and
but you know what? Stephen, that's a testimony to you, because those are relationships that not only did you forge, but that you have nurtured over those 20 years, and that doesn't happen to bad people. You've got to be putting in order for them to see the benefit of doing business with you. So kudos to you for that.
Well, I will, I'll pat myself on the back. I have 5 sponsors that I've been with 17 years to 20 years. And, I've never been one, and I think that's the biggest thing. The one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give anybody starting out would be don't jump around. That's the worst thing in the world. You don't want to be known as the guy that's going to chase, that $10 bill down the road. And what I mean by that is a guy that goes out and he goes, well, this company over here is going to give me a little bit more than this company here. Well, you better perform. Or when you get you're going to start on the bottom end of the totem pole a lot. I would rather build relationships and stick with companies that want to, help me and support me. And that's what I've been very blessed to do with some great sponsors with, like Triton and Mercury and St. Croix Rods, and I mean they have stuck with me for 20 years, and it's just a blessing to be around those people without a doubt.
Elite Series Pro Stephen Browning, thank you, brother. I'm hoping we didn't chase anybody out of the sport, but I'm hoping that people understand the reality of it when it comes down.
It is a big reality, and it's guys. If you look at it, I mean, you think about the people out there that love to compete and love to fish. And you think about how many of us do it at the elite level, and man, it's not a very big percentage. So I would never discourage not one person to not try it. And I think, by gosh, if you want to do it and it's down deep inside you got to get out there and you got to try it and let it out and see. And so I mean that's the key. Don't I followed my dreams, and I always tell people to do the same. I've got a son that's 15 years old, and I do not discourage not one day that he doesn't do this.
Mm-hmm. Stephen, thank you, brother. We appreciate you, and continued success, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all for having me.
You betcha. Elite Series Pro Stephen Browning, sit tight. Our field reporter, the one and only Hunter Mulliken, probably live in the woods right now.
Yep. He's
stomping around in a mud hole. He is next, hooking up, tracking down 1130 the Tiger. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in. We are hooking up and tracking down 1130 the Tiger. We at the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show, lucky to have probably the greatest show producer on the planet.
Of all time.
Yeah, at least in the room.
Yeah,
in the room. Yeah.
Jay Watley pushes all the right...
Yeah. Jay,
hang on, let me get your mic back on.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, my bad. My finger slipped.
And he makes this show possible. This segment brought to you by Daiwa Rods and Reels, Bayou Outdoor Super Center, Groove Fishing, Seagar Fishing Line, and Wonder Duck, making duck decoys that do one thing: bring ducks in. Now back to the boys who love sharing their knowledge of the great outdoors. It's me, Steve, and Mike. And Buddy, my oldest son, is so ready for duck season. He's been playing with the Wonder Duck in the bathtub at the house. He's had it in the bathtub.
I wouldn't tell nobody that.
No, he's had it.
Is he in there at the same time?
No,
Because
he was
I got a mental picture of this.
I told him what you told me to tell him about getting the feet adjusted and everything, and he's trying to get the feet to where they'll throw up a little spray about 4 inches high, because Mike says you can get it where it's only the feet are only kicking up about an inch, or they'll throw up 6 inches of water, and so he's trying to get it all set up. And I was like, dude, why don't you just throw it in the swimming pool or in the pond? And he says, man, right there in the bathtub is perfect. I can do everything what I want to right there. Hunter Mulliken is on the phone, our hooking up and tracking down field reporter. Are you actually in the field, Brother Hunter, or are you in a truck or what?
Obviously, he's in a coma.
Yeah.
Hunter, you there?
Okay. Why don't you do the commercial power equipment promo while we're waiting on Homer?
Yeah.
Commercial power equipment promo that we skipped over. Yeah. Attention all outdoorsmen looking for a great utility trailer or a UTV combo. Check out the line of custom-built trailers perfect for pulling behind the best UTV on the market today, the Hammerhead R150. Tough, durable, and dependable, the Hammerhead R150 is a true workhorse. They've got also a great selection of Hammerhead ATVs for more off-road fun. They're also home of the Cajun Grills. I put Cajun Gills. Cajun Grills and Fryers. All this and so much more. Commercial power equipment with 2 locations, 750 Burnt Coons, which is where we'll be next week, and 3030 Nolan Drive in Bossier City.
Hooking up and tracking down field reporter Hunter Mulliken. Hunter, are you actually in the woods right now?
I'm not actually in the woods right now, but I have been this morning. So,
okay. Here's my thinking on this, Hunter. This weather that we've had last week, middle of last week, a little bit of rain came in. We had that really good opening weekend. Finally, we got another front that's blowing in this weekend. Do you think that we're starting to see a pretty good first wave of deer that are in the rut?
Yes, sir.
I do too.
Because I've been seeing crates and ruts in the woods, for a month, and look at the tracks. You see a lot of deer running and stuff like that. And I mean, it's just that first weekend was a typical. I mean, that hadn't been like that in a long time. To have a good cold weekend for the first weekend, but as you know, it got hot again, and then the moon's out. This moon phase, with the heat, the moon. I mean, hadn't been too good of hunting conditions for me anyway. So, but this next week, with this moon going away and this cool snap coming, ought to be great.
It's weird that you would mention that with the opening weekend, because Chris Nesbitt at Bellevue Meat Processing and I were talking the other day, and he said it was the perfect storm. He said deer hadn't been hunted in a whole year.
Yeah.
He said they're kind of stupid, and he says you got the most hunters that you're going to have out in the woods for that opening day, and you get that front that blows in like that. He said normally on a great Saturday, they'll do 150 deer at Bellevue Meat. Normally on a great, they did, I think he said 270-something deer.
Almost 300,
that day.
Man, amazing. It don't surprise me, because, it kind of fires you up to go hunting when it's cool. You're not fighting mosquitoes. You're not rasping the thermocell. The deer, it's just great to go out in the woods and be, under good conditions, and I mean, it hadn't been like that way on opening day in a long time.
Now, Hunter, give us an acreage report.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
How are the acorns this year?
I've seen a moderate amount, not excessive. I mean, some areas have more than others, but there's some. And I mean, I hadn't seen normally I see more. When they're really abundant crop, I'm looking at tracks. I try to notice things like that. And I hadn't seen as many this year, but I have seen, ample enough. I mean, it's kind of a moderate year this year from what I've seen.
Well, I think the deer, and apparently on our place in Mansfield, we had a lot of acorns, because I'm just going to say, and I hunted the primitive weapon season probably 5 days. Just within the last week have I started having deer show up at a feeder within 10 or 15 minutes of it going out.
Yeah.
Now, Mike,
you got to remember, go ahead, Gary.
As I said, Mike, was it you that said when you your food plot didn't come up because it didn't get the rain it needed, right?
It didn't, but it's come up right now. Even after the hogs got in it, and I thought destroyed it, I hunted yesterday afternoon, and I think they kind of tilled it.
Oh, really?
Because it really is. It's doing real good. The rain, I think the cooler temperature, I planted racehorse oats, and I think it's growing better now that it's cooled off. I had a mohawk, now I've got a fair hair. A little fair food plot.
I feel a lot of weak food plots this year because we got a wet August, and you got to remember too that August is really wet. July, your plant stayed. You had a lot of green, forage for a long period of time. Normally in August, those plants are shutting down and stuff, but it rained. It was really wet in August. I know that because we were cutting track. We normally cut in December and August, so you have your vegetation stayed green a good while. So instead of shutting down, so food plots weren't that great because we didn't get the rain till last couple of weeks.
We did have a wet August, but we had the dry September in recorded history.
Yeah, it was dry.
Hunter, I got a question for you. Because of what you do for a living, you are in the woods all the time, and you're dealing with timber companies. Timber company comes in, cuts, most of your deer leaves. Most of it's cut this year. What's the normal protocol? Do they, if they've just cut last year, don't they put some kind of a ground sterilizer or something out there the following year? I mean, how long is it before they start planting again, dependent upon the company?
Normally, it's the next growing season. It depends on some things, but normally they want that where they clear cut. You're talking about doing a clear cut where they want that vegetation to sprout back and get the leaf surface on it before they spray it with herbicide and then all that, and then burn it, whatever. That's the way most of it. Usually the next year, next summer they'll do some site prep and then followed by planting the next winter.
Okay, so if a guy's lease has just gone through that. The timber company has come through there and they've cut and everything's been, they've waited for that. How long, once they replant, how long before you'll start seeing really good deer activity on that piece of ground again?
Well, I mean, it'll take those trees about 3 years to get above, as they come on, it'll take them about, it should be some good activity in there once it starts back, but after about 3 years, the trees will start getting taller, head high, chest high, whatever. You'll be able to see the deer start wanting to come back in there. But, really they're going to use that pine plantation area as a bedding area or a foraging area after the trees even get older because, the crowns are closed, the vegetation goes away. You'll have some edge vegetation where the fire lanes were, but really they're just kind of using it as a bedding area. So hopefully, if they clear cut it, yes, the strains are essentially drained. If they left some good hardwood SMZs on that thing where they could use those.
Well, I just know that a lot of guys are, they're constantly worried about, when's my deer lease going to be back like it was?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how long do you tell a guy he's got to hold his breath before it, could possibly be even better than it was before?
Well, I mean, really, like I say, when the plantation starts, they won't plant it until probably age 11 or 12, sometimes even later than that. But, once it gets up and gets thinned, the deer, you'll have some vegetation come back. But, I mean, in that first 6 or 8 years, once it closes, those trees start filling in, you can't see out there. They're just going to keep bedding in there and use it to get out of bad weather and stuff like that. So, and the best thing you can do on that deal is, fix your fire lanes up and keep those fire lanes open and plant them and hunt those fire lanes where they're coming in and out.
Good advice.
Hey, Hunter, do you see the and I've been like Steve Graff. I've been doing something else, so I'm going to ask you a question that they just asked. This year, do you see a significant increase in the hog population in northwest Louisiana?
Man, I tell you what, this year I have seen some hogs. I really have. Especially, we've been working very close to Black Lake.
If you'll leave the bar a little earlier, you don't have to worry about that.
I have seen some, man. I have seen a lot of them. And they're not getting any less, I promise you that.
What do you think's going to wind up being the solution to that issue?
Man, that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because, those things, I mean, if you think about it, these big hunting leases and stuff, a lot of people feed year-round, so you're really feeding them. So they're just growing. The population keeps going and going. And, unless some kind of disease comes in and knocks them out, I don't see them going anywhere.
I still say the hogs, and I wish I had enough brains to answer my own question, but the hogs are just like Salvinia. You cannot.
Yep.
The first step is stop reproduction.
Right.
Stop. Quit worrying about trying to kill them all, because you can't. Quit
can't
worrying about scooping up
all.
all the Salvania. Something's got to happen to stop reproduction before we will ever then get a handle on it.
Yep.
Great point.
They propagate pretty well.
Are you thinking that we're going to see a big weekend this weekend for deer kill?
I think we will. I really do. That's this rain, and the woods, the woods are getting damp again, and spend with the deer like it. It's cool. They ought to be moving. The moon's going away. This full moon. That moon has a lot to do with it. I believe.
Oh, Hunter,
I watch it pretty close.
I'm going to speak on his behalf because he's too bashful to ask. But Graff is kind of bored this weekend. He was hoping maybe y'all could get a bird dog and go out to West Texas or somewhere. He needed to get some jogging in.
Did you hear the story, dog?
Yeah, I did. I mean, we need to call Kent and see if he's got another dog.
I told him about cornbread, too.
Yeah, cornbread. Yeah, that's what he's good at, eating cornbread.
Hey, brother, thank you for spending some more time with us.
Well, thank y'all.
You get you a good dry spot. Get out of that red clay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm going to do it. Y'all be careful.
Hooking up, tracking down field reporter Hunter Mulligan. Sit tight. Our best times to fish, best times to hunt. Next, hooking up and tracking down 11:30 The Tiger.
Get up in your high horse now.
All right, Jay Wadley here. If you missed a portion of today's show, tune in Saturday mornings from 6 to 8 on 11:30 The Tiger. This segment is presented by Natchitoches Ford, Wildwood Resort at Toledo Bend, and Davis Clothing and Outdoor, carrying great optics, game calls, guns, and ammo for all hunting situations. Once again, here's Gary, Steve, and Mike.
HUTDshow.com is a great source for all things related to the great outdoors, including local weather, recipes. By the way, we just posted Mike's recipe for duck. What do you call that, Mike?
Black and duck. Holy cow.
Recipe is going to be posted, the video, on our video website, so check it out. Current lake levels and some great HUTD video tips reviewing products and situations that will help make you a better outdoorsman. You can also catch one of our latest shows by going to our video archives. That's HUTDshow.com, the best resource for outdoor news and information.
Here's your K2 Cooler's best times to hunt or fish. This upcoming weekend is rated as poor. I don't believe that. With duck season opening Saturday, but that doesn't mean the ducks won't be flying. Expect a cooler weekend as temperatures will range from the highs in the mid-60s and lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s. There's a 0 chance of rain on Friday, 10% on Saturday, 20% on Sunday. The moon will be in the decline from 60% on Friday to 38% Sunday night. Friday's best time to hunt or fish, 4:26 to 7:26 a.m. Sunrise 7:30 and sunset 5:15. Saturday 5:19 to 8:19 a.m. Sunrise 6:37, sunset 5:15. Sunday 5:09 to 9:09 a.m. Sunrise at 6:38, sunset 5:14. This has been your K2 Coolers. Best times to hunt or fish.
I'm a little bit disturbed about this. I think that was incorrect information.
Really?
Yeah, because it says
It'll be the first time on this show.
sunrise Friday morning at 7:30, and then sunrise Saturday morning is 6:37, and sunrise Sunday morning is 6:38.
Are you saying I made a mistake?
I'm
That would only matter if anybody listened to us.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, Eddie Shaw texted in just a while ago, and he said, "Do y'all want to sponsor me? I need your truck, Graf's boat, and Gary's money." And I told him, I said, "Well, then you'll need to go to the Wizard of Oz and find somebody with a brain, because there's not one here."
The 7:30 Friday, I think I'm thinking California time.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, on the Pacific West Coast out there.
So the most important part of that whole deal is Saturday sunrise. Did you have that right at 6:36?
6:37 on Saturday.
6:37.
Yeah.
Saturday. So 6:07 in the Shreve. Depending on where you got this, 6:37, 6:07 before you pull the trigger.
Right.
On the water duck hunting this weekend.
30 minutes before
6:07 before you shoot that.
How long does it take you to get set up? I mean, like if you were going and you don't have any decoys out or anything, you were going to the lake to duck hunt, and you've got to put out decoys. What time do you need to be on the water?
On the water, you talk about it around your blind.
No, I'm talking about at the blind.
At the blind. Okay. Excuse me. On Bistano, we leave our decoys out. Ooh. I got a scratchy throat. I think I caught it from you.
I'm fine.
You've been sick for a month, you big sissy.
I'm good. Got a little deep.
Okay. We need to get to our blind on Bistano probably 30 minutes, because we leave the majority of our decoys.
But let's just say you got to put out decoys.
Okay, well,
you didn't. You don't have that.
It all depends on how many decoys you put out.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, I am such an idiot when it comes to duck hunting.
Okay. On Bistano, we leave the majority of our decoys out. We will put out about a dozen Dakotas and pick them up every day.
Yeah.
Because
Too
they're
expensive to
high
leave out
dollar,
there.
high dollar decoys. They're the motion decoys, one we've talked about.
Right.
That move a lot. Then I've got to put out my Wonder Duck flappers, or spinning wing, whatever you're going to do. Then you got to get in the blind. And the problem right now is around my blind is so low that I can't run the motor in there. I've got to either push pole in or actually get out of the boat, wade, and pull the boat in to get to my blind. So it takes a little bit longer.
So what about if all of a sudden the Salvinia's blown in on you?
Well, I'm very, very fortunate. I have a big wall of thick trees that I will have Salvinia come through, but I've never been choked off on that particular blind. Yeah. Up north, a couple of the blinds that we've got, it's a problem. Some of them we don't even hunt. You get there that morning, we got to go someplace else. So 30 minutes before on Bistano, and about that, if you're like hunting up Arkansas, at least 30 minutes if you're going to throw out decoys.
Before shooting time.
Right. I strongly advise, if you're in an area where you're holding ducks, which is not Lake Bistano.
Right.
But if you're in an area that you're holding ducks, my thoughts are get in there. If you think that you can get everything thrown out and in the blind in 10 minutes, get there 11 minutes before that. Because my thought process is, why go in there 30, 45 minutes early and jump ducks up, put your decoys out, get back in the blind, get settled down, and the ducks start filtering back in before you can shoot them.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
I want to put the decoys out, get in the duck blind, load the gun, and have 30 seconds before shooting time.
Right.
And
when they start coming back in.
Start coming back in, I can shoot them, because they're going to come back in, sit down, and sit there for a few seconds and get mad because that hard-headed thing sitting beside him won't talk back to him.
Yeah.
And he leaves.
Yeah.
Or you call for the dog moves and you scare them off.
Yeah.
They're not going to come in and sit for 15, 20 minutes.
That's an experience.
I want to be in the blind seconds before I can start.
Safety things.
I never worry about it.
No. Is there a possibility you have a snake in the blind this time of the year? I mean, water's been kind of cool.
Yeah. I've never had a snake in the blind in my life.
Okay. What about other boaters that are out there this time of the year? I'm used to us fishermen, and we're pretty good about not running over one another. Some lakes are a little bit different, but with duck hunters, I mean, you got these surface drives going one way or the other, and all of a sudden he just appears through an island, or what is that? Does that get a little hairy?
It gets aggravating.
Aggravating,
especially when they're late getting to their blind.
Yeah. And I've been caught by a train before. And be late.
What's he doing in the lake?
Well, I'm talking about getting to the lake.
Okay, so if you were running late, would you just give it up, or are you still going hunting?
No, I'm going hunting. Those
Okay.
people I drive by, I
What
just
about
wave to them.
now, like down on
I
Toledo
swing in
Bend?
the blind, ask them if they got a biscuit ready.
Down on Toledo Bend, when I used to hunt down there, one of the things I loved when a bass fisherman would come running in off the river or something, because all of a sudden those big ducks that would be out there rafted with all the coots and everything would get up and fly and come towards us.
I saw that on Sibley Lake. I'm fishing by my dock the other evening about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Catch 2 or 3 off my dock. Well, all of a sudden I heard ducks, and it sounded like somebody calling ducks. And I'm looking out across the lake. I'm like, is there a duck hunter out there? Ducks. There was a boat, giant boat coming from the other side of the lake, came through the middle. The ducks were getting ready to roost that evening on the lake.
Yeah.
And he jumped up. I'm telling you, there were hundreds of ducks on the lake, and they just went up, and they got up in there, and they circled a couple of times, and they came right back down once everything was clear.
Are there duck blinds allowed on Sibley Lake?
Yeah.
Really?
There's some duck on there. Yeah. And so I know some guys that have a lot of success there.
You don't know anybody with a pier that would let somebody sit on the end of their pier with a shotgun, do you?
I do it, but I shoot. I'm shooting beavers when they come by.
So
is that legal?
What's your thinking?
I don't know, but I'm doing it.
Is there going to be a good opening day?
I think it could be. I do. I really do. I know for a fact that we have missed, because thank you again, my soapbox, South Louisiana, for trying to tell us up North Louisiana when the hell we need to hunt. Mm-hmm. We missed 3 good flights already.
Oh, wow.
At least that I know of.
Wow.
3 good flights that have come through by opening as late as we're open.
Jordan Bates texted me a little while ago and said that he was hearing a bunch of geese come down yesterday. And I heard some, I want to say it was last week, but they were moving at night during that full moon. Is that a good indicator that ducks are coming too, or are geese and ducks completely different animals?
No, it used to be that everybody, squirrel season, bow season, you heard geese all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of changed in our area right now. Excuse me. But I think it has to do with agriculture practice. Our flyway of the geese, it's not that they weren't migrating, it's that they weren't migrating over us, or they were not migrating as far south. Right. Yeah. You still have the migration of geese, it's just they're not moving. This year, of course, I haven't heard a goose yet because I can't even hear myself fart. This year...
I've heard you.
Yeah, well, the ones you don't hear are the ones that's going to get you. This year, there are more people in our area right now talking about hearing geese go over than I've heard in probably 10 years.
Wow.
And I don't know the reason for that. I don't claim to know it. I'll make something up. But
yeah.
Well, I didn't know, like, mallards are the last ducks to come down, the big ducks. I read an article this week.
I'm seeing you're not buying that, Eccles.
No.
Really? That's not true. Like, the gadwalls come, then the mallards
but
are the
you know,
last
it's
big
this,
ducks.
Teal and gadwalls, gray ducks are one of the ducks that do migrate on the photo poopy whoopy, whatever it is, the waning hours of daylight.
Right.
Whatever that's called. But Kylie, I'm going to tell you what. What it is that mallards, you got your calendar ducks. Oh, got a minute. You got what they call the calendar ducks. That's the ducks that are going to migrate no matter what happens.
Yeah.
They're just going. I'm supposed to migrate. I'm going. That's the young ducks that you need to kill. That you can kill. Yeah. That's the reason we need to be on the water in the west zone a week to 2 weeks earlier than what we are, because those birds are coming through.
Yeah.
And then you've got the ducks that have been around for a few years and know I don't have to go that far. I don't have to go any further than the freeze line.
Right.
Because there's food in Missouri, there's food in Kansas, there's water. Why do I want to go all the way to South Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have a big freeze, then and that's a lot of those are mallards.
Right.
Then you have those ducks may get pushed down when the freeze line gets down to Arkansas, and hadn't happened in 10 years down in Louisiana. Then you'll see mallards show up. But we've had so many mallards go through that you could kill if we were on the water earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're not getting to hunt the ones that will be here
Yeah.
in hopes that in January we'll have a big freeze and we'll have some.
Right.
Hooking up and tracking down. 11:30. The Tiger.
Looking for some great hunting tips? Check out our new website, HUTDshow.com. Loaded with video tips that's sure to make you a better hunter. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Kamigatsu Hooks, Spro Lures, and K2 Coolers. Durable, heavy-duty, and lightweight coolers with real value that keeps items real cold at a price that's real easy on the wallet. Also, don't forget that the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show airs again on Saturday mornings from 6 till 8 here on 1130 The Tiger, home of the LSU Tigers, and of course the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. One more time, here's four guys that are real serious about the outdoors: Gary McCoy, Steve Graff, and Mike Eccles.
That's not four.
He said four.
Yeah, I did say I'm just reading it as I go. I think I'm included in that.
You are.
Yeah.
You're part of the team.
Yeah.
You got a beard, you got a flannel shirt on, you got a hunter's orange hat.
No one is more serious about this than me.
Do you have on socks?
Of course.
I mean, are they a little bitty short sock?
No, their high socks are red or hunter's orange, and they have hot sauce on them. It says good stuff or something like that.
Have you guys noticed how his wardrobe has changed since he's been a part of the program?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's wearing flannel.
Yeah, I see that.
He's wearing flannel.
I'm telling you guys, I'm 1 for 1 in deer shooting. I'm batting 1,000. If it was baseball, I think I'm the only true expert here, guys.
Hey, maybe.
1 for 1. I was 11 years old.
We'll start getting your input.
Yeah, made it look easy.
Hey, don't forget now, next week we'll be at Commercial Power Equipment. We're going to go play with all the stuff over there, probably have some UTV races.
Yeah.
You know, testing out everything.
And Andy Ferran said, tell Steve Graff that coots don't count as ducks. You don't know the difference.
I didn't say that was Gary.
No, talk about on Sibley, all the ducks.
Oh,
getting
yeah.
up.
That was those weren't coots. They weren't coots.
Okay, now listen, there is an issue right now. Texas is looking to simplify their bass regulations on several different bodies of Texas water. After nearly a year of reviewing special largemouth bass regulations in place across the state, Texas Parks and Wildlife, the Inland Fisheries Management staff, considering changes to simplify things at 18 public lakes. It scares me every time we're going to make it easy.
Yeah.
It scares you. This is exactly what you need.
Yeah. But here's my question to you guys. Do you think it's been over-regulated?
Well, let's see what they're proposing here.
Yeah.
They're trying to reduce the number and kinds of special regulations with the goal of making them less complicated, more easily understood, and enforceable.
Yeah.
I like that.
Start with cattle with the same freaking slot lake.
12 of the 18 lakes affected by the potential changes would revert to the statewide 14-inch minimum length limit, which governs nearly 80% of the bodies of water in the state. The other 6 lakes affected would see changes to more appropriate special regulations. There you go.
There you go.
So let's stop right there.
Yeah.
That means 12 of the lakes probably had a slot on it,
Yeah.
and they're taking it off.
I wonder, will they maintain the same creel limit on each of those? You know, if you go from this lake to this lake, is it a limit of 5 over here, a limit of 6
No,
over
your
here?
creel limit, creel limit in Texas is 5.
But what I'm saying is will that be the same?
Yes, they're not talking about changing creel. They're not.
Okay.
That's not even mentioned in
Okay.
here.
Yeah. Read the article, Gary.
Lakes being considered to revert to the statewide limit include Granbury, Possum Kingdom, Ratcliffe, Bryan, Cooper, Old Mount Pleasant City.
That's my lake.
Bridgeport, Burke, Crenshaw, Georgetown, Madisonville, St. Augustine, and Sweetwater. Not a one of them anywhere within range of this radio station right now.
This right
Mount
here.
Pleasant is.
Oh, now you tell me you can listen to us right
You
now.
can. You can catch the show
Okay.
up there in Mount
And the TV show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
I
the
forgot.
TV
Okay,
show.
I forgot.
Yeah. This explains why last week I had a couple of texts from people saying, I heard they're fixing to take the slot off Caddo Lake. I didn't know what triggered that, but now I know what it was. But
Caddo is nowhere mentioned.
No,
Lake Fork is nowhere
No.
mentioned. I just don't. I'm not buying that the slot limit is still doing what it once did. I think that everything. There comes a point where you've got to make some changes to address, and I don't know that Texas Parks and Wildlife or Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries have done enough to stay with the times. Either the slot needs to progressively move forward or get rid of it. You know, just go to a 3 bass a maximum or a 5 bass. What is it on Caddo now?
5
Per man? 5?
Yeah.
In Louisiana. Is it 5? If it's 5, it's
whoa. State finally, a couple of years ago, Caddo Lake went to across the board regulations on Texas. I mean, it's not like 2 sides, I don't think.
Okay.
I think it's 5 fish. I think it's 5 fish on Caddo Lake, no matter where you are, and it is a 14 to 18-inch slot. I know that part, no matter where on the lake you are. 14 to 18.
But you can only have 4 or 3 over the slot.
4.
Okay.
4.
Yeah. Per man.
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's so easy to understand.
It is. It's so much
I'm
easier.
just I don't know why a
agree.
9-year-old kid
But
couldn't
the
figure that
question
out.
is, everybody.
I think. And you put tournaments on.
Yeah.
I think is what you. I think.
Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah. Or is it a 5 fish max?
It's 5 fish limit.
You're in Louisiana.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
I thought
That's
it was.
my whole point.
See,
No, I
I thought it was 8.
I thought it was 8 on Caddo as
I thought
well.
it was 8.
On the
See,
Louisiana
see,
side.
I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't. That's the reason I don't know. I don't care
Because he ain't keeping them.
because
Yeah, you're not gonna
because in a
They got too much
in a
mercury in them.
tournament,
They're killing
I
everybody.
know it is in a tournament. It's a 5 fish limit. When I put a tournament on, that's all that's the only
Yeah.
thing I regulate.
Sure.
Okay.
So I don't care.
The reason why I'm over here a little distracted, I was trying to find the article that I
Say it
that I-
in
Wait a minute. Whoa. Stop right there for just a minute. Are you ever tuned in?
I'm tuned in.
Okay.
But I was trying to find an article. It was a study done by either University of Alabama or University of Mississippi about regulations and how they have figured out that the regulations don't work because you haven't changed the mindset of the anglers, like we've talked about before,
right.
to keep the fish.
Right.
that they
Exactly.
should be
That's
keeping.
been the biggest issue.
That
is
is the
people
issue.
aren't taking enough out.
That's
of
the
the lake.
study they did, and they said these regulations.
It took us.
that's why they don't
It
work.
took us like I was a part of it.
Took us.
It took 10 years for people to get in the mindset of
Yep.
catch and release.
Right.
Yep.
It's going to take that to get them back out of it. And we talked about this just a week or two ago. I don't think we'll ever get us back into the mindset of keeping fish like you used to.
Yeah.
Because it's more trouble to keep fish, clean fish, and cook fish than it is go someplace and eat.
Yeah.
If that wasn't the case, there wouldn't be a Mexican restaurant on every corner in Shreveport and Bossier.
I don't know. You know, if Mexican places ever figure out how to fry white perch,
No, they got it's a home run.
I'm just, I'm gonna get rid of my wife. I'll kick her to the curb. I'm sorry. I've moved in down there to Los
I
Amigos or
can't
whatever.
remember the last time I walked into a restaurant and ordered fried fish. I just can't remember the last.
If there was a way that you could commercially sell white perch, would that make a difference? Is it just the catfish, or you just don't think that there's people out there who can fry fish to your liking as good as you can fry it?
No, I wouldn't even go in a restaurant and buy white perch. I just don't. That's not something I go.
You don't like fried
fish? You do it
yourself.
I helped cook 150 pounds of fish last Thursday night.
Yeah.
For the Holy Angels Taste of Shreveport.
Yeah.
I'm just.
You're fished
I
out.
I didn't cook oysters. I didn't cook steak.
Yeah.
Although David Alvis did. Gosh almighty.
He's got that figured out.
Man.
I
cooked 150-pound fish. I'm not going to go Friday night and go order fish someplace.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. When I go out to eat, I want something that I didn't have at the house.
But what about fried brim? That have been scraped and scaled and
got the crunchy tails.
Oh, and you could put, you can eat. You eat the fins off of them.
I'm not buying fish in a restaurant.
Now, there's one place I like, and it's Sea and Sirloin off Black Lake over there.
Really?
They really have a good fried catfish. They do a great job with it.
All right, let's wrap things up.
All right, here's this week's final word. I just can't wrap my head around why anyone would attack innocent people at a place of worship. We now live in a world where terror is becoming the norm, almost an everyday occurrence. Why is this? This country is in a crisis mode at this time, and it revolves around the decline of family structure, the epidemic divorce rate, and the lack of dads being involved with the raising of children, but more importantly, the lack of God in our schools. We have taken the moral compass out of the lives of a whole generation. If we don't get back to putting God first and keeping families together, these tragedies will continue. For Mike Eccles, Gary McCoy, Jay Wiley, yours truly, Steve Graff, thanks for listening. Tune in next week right here on 1130 The Tiger for more Hooking Up and Tracking Down.